Hey chaps, so before the video starts, I believe that we owe you a bit of an explanation of where the hell we have been for the last almost 5 months. Essentially, to put it short, there was a COVID, there's a bunch of little personal life stuff here and there, so we've been quite distracted, but also quite busy. Me and the guys, speaking on behalf of them, we have a lot more exciting stuff coming up, including a Halloween special that's going to be coming out at the end of this month. But no, we've got more content coming soon. Obviously, you're about to watch this video, so that's pretty good. Also, if you come from Steve's channel, hey guys, Steve, again, really appreciate the plug. We're over 100 subs now, which is fantastic. You know, for others, it's kind of, 100 subs, what is it? But we're a small channel. 100 subs is 100 subs. It's 100 of you guys watching our videos, and that gives us the motivation to keep going. So I thank you very, very much for that. So we've got a podcast, we're working on a podcast. I've got my series coming out, The Science Behind the Bang, and essentially I just talk a bit about how engines work, and a few other bits and bobs. I'm just going to touch up on the basic simple principles of a combustion engine, because I think it's a useful skill. Apart from that, I'm also planning on starting another series, The Restorer, where I get a few things made off eBay or some local stuff, restore them a bit. I'll take you through the process on how I do that. And yeah, and the other guys have got a few other projects as well. Mitch has got his new car we're going to do a review on. Lewis's Audi A4, so please stay tuned for that. Subscribe, do whatever you need to do, share. Can't tell you what to do, but there's someone outside my window looking at me. But yeah, no, thanks so much again. I think I've rambled on enough now, but yeah, please enjoy this video, and yeah, see you later. Alright, that was a failed intro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a bit of a special video for you today. Today I'm going to compare my Bmw Z3 to my 1977 MGB Roadster. Stay tuned. Now, if you're anything like me, a young car guy, you'd notice that cars are getting a lot bigger and a lot heavier and a lot more boring. Let's take the original Mini for example. Today it's blown way out of proportion, super heavy, and not as fun as the ones from the 60s. And in my opinion, the problem is that they aim too much for comfort and less on character. Now, when most people think of a cheap roadster, the first thing that probably pops into mind is a Mazda MX-5. But even that can lack a certain something about it. Maybe the thing you're looking for is more comfort, more power, more excitement out of your vehicle. And that's why I gone bought myself Bmw Z3. Now you can tell this is the facelifted model from the rear lights and the flared arches at the side. As you can see, the pre-facelifts didn't have that. They were more boxy and more square around the back. Now, there isn't much known about this car as apart to the MX-5. What I can say is that this car is loaded with creature comforts. Well, relatively. For example, you've got things like electric seats, a traction control button, a good working air conditioning, and because it's a Roadster, a full electric sunroof. And so now, say you want to buy a Roadster. What exactly are you looking for when buying a Roadster? Would you go for something more classic, like an MGB? I mean, sure, it's the same kind of vehicle and it's the same kind of shape and design, but what are you lacking? The MG, for example, doesn't have said creature comforts as the Z3. For example, the electric seats are now gone. Your sunroof is manual and very hard to put away. Radio comes as an option from the factory, and you've got a choke to start it, which may not always work in cold scenarios. I mean, don't get me wrong, the MG is a fun little car, but when it comes to long distance driving, I'd rather have a Z3. The gears are easier to go through, it's more efficient, it's faster, it's more powerful. but at the same time I love the MG. So which car would best suit you in this situation? I'd say it's all relative. Because like I said, if you want something with character and if you want something with a grunt and aggressive, I'll go for the MGB. But if you want something for long distance traveling road trips, I'd have the Z3. But enough talk now, let's get in the cars and see how they drive. Alright, set off in the MG. First thing to mention, the steering's not exactly like your modern day steering. It's a lot more effort to turn the wheel. Gears are not as easy to find compared to a modern day car. But once you get it up to speed, it's quite a fun little car. And it does put a smile on your face, especially on these twisty roads. Yeah, the suspension's a bit stiffer, but it all adds to the drive. And if it's a thing for you and it doesn't bother you, then it's absolutely fine. Like I said, I can't stress this enough. The little quirks that this car has compared to modern day cars, like the tougher suspension, the stronger, heavier steering, the tricky transmission, just about arrived, guys. There we go. Okay. Alright. Let's hop into the Z3 and see how that fares. Right, now we're in the BMW. About to set off. Dad's in front of me in the MG. Big thanks to him, by the way. Big shout out to him because he came out all this way. He agreed to be my videographer for the day. I have to get used to the driving the Z3 again. First comparison is shifty. My gosh, it's just so easy. It's effortless to shift in this car. Absolutely effortless. Compared to the MG where you have to find the gears, it's just honestly effortless. The other thing is the steering. A lot smoother, a lot better, less hard to turn the wheel, especially when you're pulling out of a parking space. In the MG it's a nightmare and a half, compared to this anyway. It's got a bigger engine, not that much bigger. This is the 1.9 compared to the 1800 MG that I was driving. The suspension's different. It's a lot more, I wouldn't say stiff, but a lot more comfortable. You go over a bump and it absorbs it quite well. Obviously in this car that you don't get with the MG is the air conditioning, which in very hot summers Malta in September you kind of need, because right now I have it off so it doesn't interfere with the microphone on the GoPro. I can tell you it's absolutely stifling in here. One thing actually that the MG has that this car doesn't, which is actually quite useful, is a zip away rear window. So if it gets too hot in the car, you just literally zip that while you're driving, put your windows down, and you've got quite a nice breeze. And it's got quarter lights as well. I mean, this car has AC, so I'm not complaining. I just have it off at the moment because it will interfere with the sound of the video. I've owned this car, a little bit about this car. I've owned this car for about 2 months now. And no, I find it quite good. It's my first car, my first official car that I've been insured and registered on and everything. It's my car. And I think as a first car, it's absolutely bloody brilliant. I mean, it turns heads. You know, you don't see them everywhere, especially these Z3s. You don't see them everywhere. They're quite a particular looking car. At first I didn't quite like the design of it and everything. I tried to overtake this guy, but coming up to a hill. The design of it is quite unique. It's not like the Z4. The Z4 is quite more modern. I think this hints back to the older classic BMWs. Back in the 60s. Back in those old 60s Roadsters, you know. There we go, overtaking this guy. Overtaking's effortless in this car. It's obviously more powerful. This has got the 140 horsepower engine. And again, there are bigger engines for it, but I don't really think you need it for what it is. It just becomes too overpowering. With these kind of cars, power's not really what you look for, in my opinion, anyway. What you look for is the experience of driving these cars. And the experience is fun. It's, you know, it's different compared to a normal day car. Because a normal day car, a more modern day car, because I'd consider this a modern classic. It's a modern classic essentially. It's not like today's cars, but it's close enough. You know, you've got the standard stuff like air conditioning and power seats, and the transmission and the power of the engine. But yeah, it's something a bit different. It's different from an MX-5. Look, I'll put it like that, because you see them everywhere. You see MX-5s everywhere. They're a very common roadster, and they're common for a reason. Don't get me wrong, they're common for a reason. They're good cars. They're easy projects for, you know, people that want to start projects like me, really and truly. But university comes in later. But the Z3 has got more. It's got more class.
I think. Not to sound like a posh bastard or anything, but it's got more class, it's got more. I like the styling. I've gotten used to the styling. I never used to like it, but I've gotten used to it. I never knew it existed before seeing it on Facebook Marketplace. I knew about the Z4s. You see quite a few of them here in Malta. You don't see many Z3s anywhere really. And another fact, this was the car in the Bond film with Pierce Brosnan. So it's a Bond car as well.
Now pay attention, 007. First, your new car. BMW. Agile 5 forward gears, all points radar. Self-destruct system, and naturally, all the usual refinements. Now, this I'm particularly proud of. Behind the headlights, Stinger missiles.
Excellent. Just the thing for unwinding after a rough day at the office.
Need I remind you, 007, that you have a license to kill, not to break the traffic laws.
So if your mates ever ask you what car you drive, you say, yeah, I drive a Z3, it was a Bond car. There's another video on YouTube with this car. I met up a few days ago with the YouTuber Englishman in Malta. I'll leave a little description, his link down in the description. And we just went for a little drive on the Maltese roads, we grabbed a beer. Oh yeah, go check out his video on it as well. It's a good little channel. Make sure to subscribe and say that Jezza from Sneaky Pikers Garage sent you. And like I said, it doesn't need a lot of power. You don't need a lot of power to have fun in this car. It's light enough. It's rear wheel drive. It's got a good 1.9 BMW engine in there, built like a tank. Lasts forever really, lasts the life of the car. Maintenance is quite low. One thing I do have to say is that it does guzzle petrol depending on how you use it. Now, here in Malta there's a lot of traffic, so you get stuck in traffic and your petrol just gets absolutely guzzled. I mean, if you use it on straight roads like I'm using them on now, which is very rare to not find traffic in Malta, then you're going to have an absolute blast. If you do consider buying this in a colder country, for example the UK where I live, consider getting the hardtop, because you know it's got a roof but it leaks, like all other convertibles from that era, from the 90s and 2000s. The roof leaks. The roof does leak. But in conclusion, Z3 does what it says in the can. It's a fun little 90s, 2000 era roadster. A bit different from an MX-5, you know, different styling, different creature comforts. A bit more comfortable, I'd say, than an MX-5, because I've driven one, and I'd say an MX-5 is a lot more raw and a lot more... It's quite like an MGB, the MX-5. It's more like a classic roadster. I'd say this is a modern classic. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. That pretty much sums it up. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out our website, check out our socials at Instagram. We've got a TikTok page now at Sneaky Pikers Garage, so be sure to check that out. Or you may have come from TikTok, in which case, hello, welcome to the channel. But yeah, stay tuned for more content from Sneaky Pikers Garage. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. You know, can't force you to do anything, but it would help us quite a bit. We're a small channel. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. In a bit.